welcome to the Common Creative Podcast, episode number 3, with your host Tim Gardner. We're here with Crystal Greenhouses, a professional makeup artist here in Melbourne. Crystal has been doing makeup in Melbourne for the past 7 years. She's worked on weddings and other events, as well as professional photography, and I'm very, very grateful to have Crystal here on the show today. So to make a clear segue into things as always, thank you for coming on, Crystal. How did the journey begin? You know, going back 7 years ago, how did you break into your passion as a makeup artist?
Well, thank you for having me, Tim, the opportunity to be interviewed by you on this podcast. It all started when I miserably failed my master's in speech pathology, and what happened was, in order for me to stay at the dormitory at school, I had to study something. It didn't have to be at the uni anymore. I just had to study something. So I thought, you know what, I've been studying health and sciences for almost, I think, more than 5 years, probably 7 years by then. I thought I needed to tap into my creative side, and I just thought, let's just do makeup artistry. Let's tap into that. I know I love painting. I love holding a brush. And yeah, I applied for a makeup school, just a 3-month part-time makeup school, fell in love with holding a brush and just thought, yeah, this is actually what I really want to do. Holding a brush was something that I had known going back since I was a child. Just drawing, painting, that was my happy place. So when I felt that again doing the course, I just knew, what am I doing? Why am I doing health for? I need to hold a brush. So that was the reason why I entered back into, the arts. And I thought the best way to start was through makeup.
Okay. And was painting something, was there ever a point where you considered going down that route instead of makeup, or was it kind of an instant, a love at first sight when you started getting hands-on experience with makeup?
I think for me, I knew I didn't really want to go down the bachelor's degree again. So I just thought, I'll stick with makeup for now, because that was enough for me, just holding a brush and making people feel beautiful and, just getting creative. And just since then, I haven't looked back. I haven't looked back into going into an arts degree or anything like that. That was enough for me. Yeah.
And for people out there that are getting started and looking to break into what you're doing, is there a particular, academic route that is preferable, or do you recommend people to start getting that hands-on experience as early as possible?
Okay, so with makeup, I think over time I did realize that I guess I always had that innate curiosity of the science, like for anything. So I did actually eventually go down that track. So at the beginning, it was getting creative, holding a makeup brush, making people feel beautiful. But then after that, I felt, after 1 year, in 2012, that I started asking questions. Like, I felt the feedback that I was getting from my teachers was, that's beautiful. But then I wanted to find out, how could I better my craft? I actually wanted someone to make me cry and say, no, that's not good enough. You haven't done this properly. Or, just you chose the wrong colors. Why did you choose this colors? I actually wanted someone to really critique me. And that's when I found a teacher called Donna Mee, who is from America. And she's in California. And I discovered her on Facebook. Everyone raved on about her. She likes to teach and educate those who are serious about makeup, who doesn't want to just, make people beautiful, but want to know the reasons why, the science behind beauty. So I did more research on her, her background and what she was all about. And eventually in 2013, I was offered to go to her school in America and pursue this, to learn the science about makeup and aesthetics and beauty and about the skin. So that was the start of my journey of learning more the science of makeup artistry. It wasn't any more of just being an arts creative. Is more learning about like different skin types, learning about different products And yeah, I'll be honest, she's a fantastic teacher, but yeah, she was the one that really critiqued my work, and at night, I would cry at night because I really wanted, that's what I wanted, as much as it hurt. And it was very difficult, one of the most difficult courses that I've done. She really cared about, me as a student and really wanted me to succeed. And she's all about that tough love. But yeah, I highly recommend her. If you really want to master what you're doing and know why you're doing what you're doing and not just doing things because it looks good, she's the go-to person you need to go to learn all that stuff. Yeah, for me, that's for me.
Okay. And how are you with criticism now? Is it something that's gotten a little bit easier for you to handle, or do you still get that criticism that it maybe hurts you, but you know that it is helping you grow and it is good for you in the long run?
I think it depends from who it's coming from. But I guess, as they say, a good student is one that will be open to, learning and also, being open to being critiqued. I have to remind myself when I am being critiqued that, they're doing this because they love me enough to tell me, rather than allowing me to keep doing the same mistake. So that's something I have to remind myself, and reminding myself not to be oversensitive and to take things too personal. So that's a journey in itself. And I guess that's the hard thing when you're a creative. There is already that sensitivity in that in your personality, and, really loving what you do and taking so much pride. And then when someone says, I don't like it, then it can strike a chord in your heart. But you have to just remind yourself, okay, not everyone's going to like you, not like your work. This is my style. And you've got to really know yourself as an artist. But that is all a journey, and it takes time.
Okay, awesome. And is there any advice you would give to somebody else to help them discover what their particular angle is for them as an artist, or as a makeup artist? Is there anything that help you find your particular style of makeup and your way of working?
That's a really good question. I think you don't know until you just put yourself out there and go for it. I also would recommend just going out there and doing it. I remember at the beginning, I was too afraid to start and to do things, or to, just start any work, because I wanted things to be perfect. And I just realized, you know what, there's never going to be a perfect time. You just got to go and do it. Even with my business, people are saying, oh, you haven't done this yet and you haven't done this yet. I'm like, I'm never going to get to that point of getting everything done. I've just learned that things kind of just evolve as you go. Yes, if you can plan and do things in advance, do it. But I just find if you're going to prepare for everything, it's like, I guess I've learned that I'm not that type of person I prepare definitely, but you can't always prepare for everything. Yes, you've got to prepare as best as you can, according to your, your current lifestyle. But yeah, you're not, how do I explain it? It doesn't sound really good, but prepare as much as you can. And when something new comes up, then, okay, tackle it. I go, oh, okay, yep, all right, what do I need to do for that? Because I haven't got a background in business. I've just got a very strong background in health, and then just learned things along the way for makeup. Business stuff, I find like that is just something you learn along the way. Obviously, do all the legal side, like your insurance, your personal indemnity insurance and public liability. Yes, have all that. But I'm talking about other things where you're presented with an opportunity, and whether you want to take it or not from in next step in your business level. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I just feel like you're never going to always have everything, but prepare as much as you can.
No, I totally understand, Crystal. It's there is that saying that sometimes you need to cross your bridges when you get to them.
Yes.
Segueing into work ethic, how do you manage your time on a day-to-day basis? Do you have a very clear schedule that you work off, or do you like to be more intuitive in how you manage your day-to-day responsibilities as a business owner?
That's another thing. I think when people look at me, they're just, because this journey has really evolved over time, starting in makeup artistry, and then meeting Donna Me and wanting to learn the science of beauty. Again, she encouraged me to take that science even further. So I actually did that and actually went to pursue cosmetic nursing, where they actually teach more in depth about the skin and about holistic health, about beauty, and looking after, yourself as a whole being, and even what, diet, can play in looking after yourself, to be aesthetically healthy, and also inner and outer. So I actually went down that road. So I actually just completed that course. So I'm now a qualified cosmetic dermal nurse and a cosmetic nurse. And I find that, I think one of the reasons I did that was because back in 2012, when I started, up until now, the thing that has not changed is every time you get a client in your chair, they will always ask you questions about skin, what they can do better, what are they, what you think that they could improve on, or what you think is wrong. I'm not a doctor, but I can always just, just say it could be this, but obviously recommend to go back to their doctor. But I'm definitely feeling a lot more empowered now than I was before in helping my clients. Before, it was just knowing how to make them look beautiful with makeup, whereas now I actually know more about products and about food, and it's just it's a different passion. It's not just about makeup anymore. It's really holistic health. So I'm trying to go back to your question. It's just changed over time. So when you ask me about, what is my schedule, my goals have changed. More for the long term. Yes, I still get clients on the weekends or during the week, but my focus now is really going down the line of really mastering the science aspect of this industry of beauty and health, because that's what I'm really passionate about, and hearing the results from my clients who are who try what I suggest, and them seeing the results. So that's something that I'm kind of building towards. Yes, I do makeup, and now I'm kind of going into that more, building towards a salon, but like that medical level, if that makes sense.
No, totally, it does. And it sounds like the holistic understanding is something that it's hard for us to ignore, isn't it? Because they are all linked together. And on that point, like, what are things that you do, yourself to keep yourself going in when you're dealing with stress and you're dealing with, things that feel challenging? Do you have anything that you could recommend for other creatives, knowing that in the end of the day, the way that we look and feel is all interconnected?
Definitely. So I would say getting enough sleep. Also hanging out like with your friends or those that you really trust. I think that's another journey that I've learned, is self-care. You've got to find different ways to look after yourself, whether that's reading a book, going for a walk, taking time out to watch an episode of Friends or watching Netflix. Obviously not too excessively, but, just, breaking up your time. I did not do that, I'll be honest. I only probably started doing that this year. A free time for me, or self-care for me back then, because I was so invested in my career and building my business, was, every time I had the opportunity to carry a paintbrush or my makeup brush, that was my free time. It really was. But my friends kept saying, no, Crystal, you need to have free time, you need self-care. And it's only this year, obviously, when I experience your own personal crisis, that you've burnt out, then that's when you realize. So that's something that I'm implementing more, and I'm actually talking a lot more in my personal Instagram about that, the real importance of self-care, because if you don't look after yourself, then you won't be able to look after your clients better. You won't be able to look after your family, your friends, and also your own family, like your parents as well. So I really implement that.
Okay, awesome. And thanks for sharing that. And so, Crystal, when you first sit down with a client to work together, what is one of the things that you do to make them feel comfortable and to allow them to relax in the work environment? Well, it is a work environment for you, but it's probably a lot of fun for them, isn't it?
Offering a glass of water is great. I think one thing I'm working towards is getting like a coffee machine, because I know, given that we live in Melbourne culture, coffee is like a big thing. I also offer tea as well. Generally a drink really helps. And then just asking questions about themselves and what they're after, what their goals are, and getting to know your client as well, what they're all about, and how they're feeling, if it's their first time as well. And, unfortunately, one of the things as well is, you do hear it often, sorry that my skin's so bad. And I'm just like, it's okay, there's nothing wrong. Like I wouldn't say there's, we don't know what we don't know. I go, it's not your fault. Like I'm not saying it as a bad thing towards them, but, I try to come from a place of love going, you don't, I go, what do you do? And they'll be like, oh, maybe I'm a graphic designer. I go, well, you're not really expected to know a lot about skin. That's where I come in. I've been studying for the last, so long. I've actually dedicated the last 10 years in health. I go, this is where I come in. This is where my expertise comes in. I go, don't put that pressure on yourself. I go, the media, the commercials, they tell you, to use this product and this product. People don't know what to use. Like the average person who doesn't know health and science about skin, they don't know. So that's like usually the first thing I tell them, just to reassure them that, it's okay. You're in a safe place to talk this about, with me. And then I'll, from there, make recommendations, find out what they do, and work towards that journey of, just that skin health for them. That's more so with brides. I find, that's one of the things that I like working with brides is, it's not that one-off meeting. You actually go on a journey with them on that. So that's what I really, really like.
Okay. And when it comes to the big day, the wedding day, how is that process different, working with a bride as opposed to, a completely different type of shoot? For instance, like a model, like what are some of the things that you need to do differently when you know that it's a wedding that you're preparing your client for?
With the wedding, you do everything you can to not make the bride stressed. Same with the model as well, but you just don't want your bride, just to feel any sort of anxiety. What I usually do with my brides is they actually get this opportunity to get this face mask put on that I know that is suitable for most brides, and also they would have tried it at the trial. So when they can't wait to just lie down and get that mask on, and when they get it on, that mask that just prepares their skin before I apply the makeup, they absolutely love it. They're just like, thank you. You don't understand that 5 minutes or 10 minutes of just having that mask on my face and lying on the bed, just it really rejuvenates them. With models, when you're doing photo shoots, it's kind of go. But again, you want to make your client comfortable. I find also with models as well, sometimes, I think being cold is a big thing. So making sure that you as a makeup artist having like warm socks, being able to offer them tea, and also, giving them a proper gown that's warm enough for them. That's one thing I noticed with working with models, especially female models, is just feeling cold because, they're having to take off their clothes, trying different outfits. So it's that constant of, being cold. So that's really important, just making sure that you have that. A good gown, good socks, cup of tea, you're sweet. Yeah.
All right. And what's one bit of life advice or wisdom that you've got from your years' experience in the industry?
Oh, it's probably very simple, but you got to be committed to not giving up, to every time that you fall, or, when you think you're not good enough, or it's like just being committed to get back up again, and also not compare yourself, because that is just going to destroy your joy in what you're doing. If you compare yourself, it's going to destroy yourself as well. And, if you've already got that comparison, mentality in your heart, you're going to just also destroy yourself and the creatives around you without knowing. So I would just say, being true to your own work, just definitely do not compare yourself, because it's so easy now to do that. And I guess if you don't compare yourself, you really can maintain your own integrity, to just be proud of the little and the big milestones that you are achieving, whether it be, like today, this podcast for me, or, getting a gig, with certain people with big followers, or there's just anything. Like, really need to celebrate those moments and not play them down. And I guess, yes, remain humble, but not too humble that you don't even, celebrate yourself. I think you've got to, definitely not compare yourself, because I think that's one that I did for a few years, and I was just like, no, I need to stop this. I can't. I'm going to destroy my career, destroy myself, you're sowing into a seed that's just going to not flourish into anything. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. What's one thing that you haven't yet got a chance to try that you'd like to try in the years to come?
I would say probably a beauty commercial, or just any commercial. I don't specialize in horror or special effects, unfortunately. I think that's something that I'd be keen to do down the track, just the basic stuff. But I haven't actually done any movie type of work, even just a commercial. So I would like to get involved with that at some point, doing TV actually. Yeah.
All right, and awesome. So what's one little bit of advice, or even just a few tips you could give to someone that is also managing a family and striving to progress their career at the same time? Is there anything that you've learnt in your journey that has helped you make life feel a bit more seamless and a bit more enjoyable, and has made that balancing act just a little bit easier for you?
Again, it's that being commitment, that just did not make sense, but being committed. I just think of the word commitment. One thing that I did 2 years ago was I actually created a vision board that, looked at my family life, my work life, my holidays, things that I wanted to achieve, things that I wanted, to see, that I'd eventually have in my hand or in my house. I highly recommend that. I actually did another one this year, and the stuff that I achieved a lot of the stuff on that vision board. I didn't achieve everything, but I achieved big things on the vision board. So I would recommend doing that. I think having a vision is a big thing, and having it in front of your face all the time is even better. So mine is in the bathroom. So I see it when I brush my teeth. I see it like in the shower. I see it in the toilet. Like, it's just it's there. I have it on my phone, so I can constantly see it. So I'm constantly manifesting it and remembering it. I also pray as well that, those things come to pass, and they have. I would just, recommend that. Another thing that's helped me as well is reading books. I've only started recently reading books of people that inspire me. A person that's inspired me the most is actually Teresa Valfoy. So she's someone that I listen to a lot. And also I exercise more. I never exercised until 2 years ago. I started doing that, and, I'm more committed to that. And in the last 2 years, I've lost more than 10 kilos. So yeah, just, focusing on my health, focusing on my mental health, focusing on my career. It may not haven't expanded so much. It has expanded in dollars, but I've increased in my wisdom in being able to give advice to my clients. So I think that's really worthwhile. Sometimes I have to remind myself that in the journey, you have to really be patient, especially with education. You just can't fit, everything in your head at once within 1 month, especially this health journey for, that I'm able to provide clients and myself. That's taken years, but as much as I'd like to, increase more in dollars in that, I know, to get a qualification, that takes years, sometimes months before you can, increase your prices and things like that. So just being patient with that as well, but knowing that I'm on the right journey, to benefit my clients. And also another thing that I've learnt is, don't hold money or, your income and your profit for yourself. Share that with others. So another thing that I've been dedicated to since 2014 is I give a certain percent of my income towards organizations that are globally recognized to stop human trafficking of different sorts, whether it be, people or drugs or just different forms of human trafficking. And also I donate a portion of my income to single mothers in parts of Asia who cannot get the support. So, because I'm a single mother as well. So just understanding just the struggles of a single mother or any single parent, giving them the opportunity to start their own businesses also. So yeah, it's just another thing that I really believe in is giving back where you can and what you can. Not everything, but, starting small and not playing down the small that you give. The small that you give really makes a big difference.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's very sound and helpful advice. Bringing it back to talking about beauty for a second. Beauty is something that I imagine has evolved and changed over time, and it's also something that is different. It's different depending on who we're talking to. Is there anything that has cropped up since you've been doing what you do, that you've seen certain trends or certain things evolve in your time, in the sense that what was beautiful maybe a few years ago is not as beautiful now, or there's something else that has come into play that you didn't expect?
This was the thing that I learnt back with my training with Donna Mee in America. She's been a makeup veteran for probably about 40 years. And she always says, if you can achieve, creating timeless beauty, and she showed us all these, classic looks of timeless beauty, your clients will be thankful to you forever. If you create trends on your clients, who didn't want trends, they're not going to be happy years later looking back at their photos. So I guess it's identifying your client, whether they want to follow a trend or whether they want to follow classic timeless beauty. So how I tackle that is showing them lookbooks, that I've pulled out from magazines, like this is a trend, like image, this is a timeless beauty. You have to be careful, especially with brides, that you need to remind them that, look, you want to be able to look at this back in, 20 years and say that you're beautiful. And then, rather than following, a trend and going, oh my gosh, why did I, get all that glam? Or, why did I pluck my eyebrows so thin? Or just things like that. It's, if you're able to show them and educate them, that's as much as you can do. Whether they choose the trend look or the classic timeless look, it's the ball's in their court. You can only show them and make them, put it out there, and that's as much as you can do. Also, as well, in regards to aesthetics, beauty, as well, I think you just got to remind them that, they are themselves and that they are individually beautiful as well, that they have unique attributes and, features, and, what they have is beautiful. You really have to, because there's no one else in the world that looks like them. You really got to instill that in your client, because, you do have a lot of clients that, they'll apologize for, oh, sorry, my nose is like this, or, my eyes do this. Another thing that I'm grateful for with my teacher is she taught us corrective beauty techniques. So she taught us strategies and techniques, how to enhance certain features more and how to play down certain features. So if someone has a more prominent bridge on their nose, I can teach them ways to actually make that look not as high, and also teach them ways to what areas on their face to play up more so that there's less attention on their face. So I'm really grateful to my educator back in America for teaching me tips and tricks and techniques like that. But also just reminding them that, at the end of the day, they are who they are there, and they are beautiful regardless. It's so important. I have to always remind myself that when I'm doing, workshops, I'm teaching, timeless classic beauty, techniques or looks, but it's not to say that they're not beautiful. It's just to show them that different techniques or different strategies, just to play on their features and to play down certain features that they don't like, but at the end of the day that they are beautiful. I feel like you really have to be careful, and you really have to come from a place of genuine care and love, and you got to make sure that you don't want your clients to walk away from there feeling worse than what they did when they already apologized for certain features. No, you have to always reinforce that they really are, and I truly believe that every client is. I really do, because you wouldn't be you. That's just I don't know if I can express that through radio, but really deep in my heart, or, on this podcast, I just really have such an appreciation of just humanity and just the beauty of them themselves. If I had to say it in one word, beauty is spirit at the end of the day. Yes, you could be the most beautiful person aesthetically on the outside, but beauty is within the spirit, within your soul, within yourself. If you're beautiful but you don't know how to treat someone with kindness, I don't know if that's, I don't think that's beautiful. Beauty is spirit.
Wow, I really like that response. I think there's a lot there for the viewers to unpack, which is good. And to start to move things towards a wrap up, why, of all the places in the world that you could live and work, why Melbourne? Why not either a different part of Australia, or even, a different part of the world where it's a totally different culture and a totally different experience as a makeup artist or someone that works in the beauty industry?
It's interesting that you say that. I'm actually working towards wanting to become global. Hence why I'm going back to uni to finish my nursing, because I actually do want to work around the world. I don't know where, but I do want to work somewhere else globally. But yes, I do love, where I live in Melbourne. I love the diversity of cultures that are living here, and I think we're very blessed to live in Melbourne. And I think being in the makeup industry, because once how to explain it, you can actually work anywhere in the world with your makeup career. You just got to start again, building your networks and things like that. But my goal is actually to go global. So I don't know where, but I know my heart is in America and also in Europe, but I'm also open to Dubai. I'm actually really open, but I'm working towards that. So I won't know until I finish my course in about 2 years. But for now, this is where, Melbourne is my community. Melbourne is the people that I serve with what I've got. And, I think wherever I am, where there's people around, doing what I love with my makeup and, learning about health and being able to give advice or recommendations or suggestions. I'm at service to people. Wherever there's people is where I will serve. That's what I believe I'm also called to do. I don't know if that makes sense, but...
It does make sense. Yeah. And where can those listening to the podcast get in touch with you? Do you have an Instagram, a website, or Facebook, or what's the best way for people to find out more about you and potentially look at hiring you as well?
If you would like to be in contact with myself, you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is Presence Artistry, which is also my business name as well. So Presence spelt as PRESENCE and then Artistry. That's where you can locate me if you've got any questions about skin, or you'd like to come to one of my workshops about skin, or even get your makeup done. That's where you'll find me.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Crystal. There's definitely been some really interesting points that you've made, and I think those listening will appreciate that as well. So I wish you all the best going forward, and with your goals as well to expand your business out into the abyss, into the rest of the world. So thank you so much, and take care of yourself, and I wish the best to your clients as well.
Thanks, Tim, for having me again. It's been a true honour and a privilege doing this podcast with you, and being able to share just a little bit about myself and my journey. Thank you so much again.